Scorpio, something extraordinary is unfolding this week. Two people are about to step into your life and transform your destiny in ways you never imagined. Are you truly ready to pop the champagne and welcome what the universe has kept hidden until now? If you've been feeling an unshakable pull to something greater, if you've sensed that this week holds a sacred weight to it, you're right to listen. There are no coincidences in divine timing, and the fact that you found this video today means you were meant to receive this message. From October 4th to 10th, an energetic portal opens for you, Scorpio, one that doesn't simply bring change, but writes a brand new chapter of your life, guided by two destined encounters. One of these souls will heal you where you didn't know you were still hurting. The other will unlock a new direction in your material world, a person whose presence becomes the key where you once saw only closed doors. The signs are already gathering around you. Can you feel them? So many of you have walked through fire, carried burdens in silence, and waited on your knees for an answer. This week, the answer comes through people. Through divine appointments disguised as chance meetings. And you're not watching this because you're curious or here because your spirit is waking up to what has already begun. Take a deep breath with me. Place your hand on your heart. If you feel that this message is resonating, I want you to write in the comments right now, I am ready to receive the two people who will transform my destiny. This isn't just a comment. It's an energetic declaration. A moment of spiritual alignment. When you write it, you're not just speaking to this channel, you're speaking directly to the divine, to the universe, and to your higher self. That act of writing grounds the energy. It sends out a signal that you're not only aware but receptive. I want to take a moment now to thank you. Every like, every comment, every single subscription supports more than just this channel. It strengthens this sacred space we are building together here on Miracle of the Sign. A space for healing, clarity, and alignment. Your presence is seen. Your energy is felt. And your support allows these soul-led messages to continue reaching those who need them most. Please don't rush away. Stay with me until the very end of this message, because what the stars are showing for you, Scorpio, is nothing short of spectacular. There are sacred alignments, astrological insights, spiritual confirmations, and moments of divine clarity waiting to be revealed. All of it is tailored just for you, in this moment. So tell me, what led you here today? Was it a repeating number? A vivid dream? A whisper from your intuition that said, click now? I want to hear your story in the comments. You're not just a viewer, you're a vital part of this message. Get comfortable. Tune in with your breath. And prepare your soul to receive what you've been asking for, because this week, it's arriving. Scorpio, as we step deeper into this week's unfolding story, we begin to feel the subtle yet undeniable rhythm of the cosmos aligning itself with your journey. This isn't just about planetary motion or lunar phase, it's about the quiet choreography of your soul dancing in time with something far greater than you can logically grasp. And when you feel that sudden flutter in your chest, that strange urge to cry without knowing why, or the silent ache that pulses through you when no one else is watching, know this: you are being moved. This is the soundless voice of the universe whispering, it's time. The week of October 4th to 10th is a sacred container of transformation for you. Not metaphorically. Energetically. Emotionally. Spiritually. The waning moon signals a closing of one cycle and a clearing of emotional residue. It's a cosmic exhale, It invites you to loosen your grip on what has already served its purpose in your life, relationships that no longer reflect your truth, beliefs that weigh you down, and versions of yourself that have grown too small for your calling. It's okay to grieve those versions. But don't mistake the grief for loss. What you're feeling is expansion. Then comes Mercury trine Neptune on October 7, the soft yet profoundly intuitive alignment. Imagine a veil lifting, revealing glimpses of clarity where fog once stood. You may have dreams during this time that feel too vivid to ignore. You may hear someone speak a phrase you've been thinking about for days. You may open a book and find a line that pierces your heart so deeply you have to stop and breathe. This is your higher self answering back. This is what it looks like when divine timing walks in and pulls up a chair. At the same time, Venus traveling through Virgo casts a gentle, discerning light on your relationships, finances, and self-worth. Under this energy, love becomes sacred responsibility, not romantic illusion. Finances become a mirror of inner clarity, not chaos. And your sense of value begins to reorganize itself around something purer. You're being invited to clean the lenses through which you perceive connection, not so you can cut people out, but so you can draw the right ones in. Remember, the people coming into your life now aren't just companions. They are catalysts. And to receive them, you must create space. Internal space. Emotional clarity. Spiritual readiness. This entire week is vibrating at a higher frequency, and your body, whether you realize it or not, is trying to match it. That's why you may feel more tired than usual. Or suddenly wired and restless. That's why certain old emotions you thought you buried may resurface. This is your system recalibrating, purging the old frequencies so you can tune into the new. Be kind with yourself. Drink more water. Sit in silence. Touch the earth. Let yourself cry, even if you don't know why. It's not weakness. It's cellular release. And then, there are the signs. The numbers. The symbols that find you over and over again until you finally pause and say, I see you. 22, 33. 1111, these aren't coincidences. They are soul timestamps, confirmation codes that you are in sync with something sacred. If you're seeing these numbers, consider them as divine signatures left behind by the ones preparing to enter your life. The two destined individuals who are not just passing through but anchoring themselves in your story. Look for them in unexpected conversations. In the way your body responds before your mind can catch up. They are closer than you think. Colors this week also carry their own frequency, and they're not just for beauty theory for activation. Olive green grounds your heart in stability while awakening your capacity for peace. Lavender softens the nervous system and lifts you into emotional sovereignty. If you're drawn to these tones, wear them. Surround yourself with them. Sleep with them near. Let color be prayer. Let presence be the altar. Above all, trust this. What you feel now is real. You don't need to intellectualize it, explain it, or prove it. You only need to honor it. Because this is how the spirit works, not in noise, but in nuance. Not in pressure, but in pull. And the more you attune to the rhythm beneath the chaos, the more you'll realize, you are not lost. You are being led. If any part of this touched you, I invite you to write in the comments, I feel the shift. I see the signs. I welcome what's next. Not from a but for you. To declare, to ground, and to remember. Your timing is divine. Your alignment is real. And this week, your destiny walks toward you with open arms. Scorpio, by now, something within you has already begun to shift. Not because of what you've been told, but because of what you've remembered deep in your bones. As if a hidden part of you long buried under responsibilities, heartbreaks, or silent prayers has finally risen to the surface, whispering, "This is it. This is what I was waiting for." The energetic landscape of this week is not only calling you inward, but also drawing something or rather, someone toward you. In fact, two people. Not to rescue you, not to fix what's broken, but to activate the version of you that is ready to rise. One through the power of love, and the other through the unlocking of your path. The first is someone whose presence feels like water to your roots. They don't arrive with fanfare or grand declarations. They come in stillness, in kindness, in quiet understanding. And when you meet them, you won't feel butterflies, you'll feel breath. Peace. Relief. As if you've been carrying something heavy for too long, and just their gaze helps you finally set it down. This isn't about attraction. It's about resonance. Your nervous system will recognize them before your mind does. Because this is not a love that thrills, it heals. It doesn't demand, it holds. And it gently reminds you that strength doesn't always have to be loud, and love doesn't always have to come with struggle. They are here to say, without needing to say anything, you don't have to carry all of it alone anymore. And yet, just as powerfully, someone else arrives not to mend your heart, but to clear your path. You may not even see them coming. They may enter through an email, a conversation, a casual referral, or even a coincidence that feels too sharp to be random. But what they bring is clarity. A key. They open a door that had been locked for years, perhaps a dream you set aside, a calling you thought was impossible, or a financial path you assumed had closed. They remind you that stuck is not a permanent state, it's a signal for redirection. And sometimes the universe answers not with fireworks, but with a person who simply says, "Have you tried this?" And suddenly, everything changes. The beauty is that neither of these people are here to complete you. You're already whole. They're here to reflect back the version of you that you've forgotten, the you who still believes in softness, in support, in miracles hiding in plain sight. The you who once dreamed wildly but dimmed your light out of fear of being too much or not enough. These people, in their own sacred roles, serve as mirrors. One reflects back your worthiness of love that feels like safety. The other reflects back your readiness to say yes to abundance. We often expect life's greatest gifts to arrive wrapped in certainty. But sometimes, they show up disguised as strangers. Or as someone familiar who suddenly feels new again. What matters is not how they come, but that your heart is open enough to recognize them. This is why the work you've been doing, quiet forgiveness, letting go, tending to your inner garden matters. It prepares you to receive. It prepares you to hold without clinging. To open without fear. And if this moment feels surreal, if it feels too sacred to be true, remind yourself that you've already done the hardest part. You stayed open when it would have been easier to close. You kept going when the road made no sense. You prayed when no one was listening. And now, the answer doesn't come from the sky, it walks toward you in human form. In the midst of life's busyness, this is where you're asked to pause and notice. To listen for the knock. To feel the nudge. Because both of these people are approaching not as distractions, but as divine confirmations that your alignment is working. Your energy is calling in what your soul asked for long ago. And if your spirit already knows who one of them is, or feels a flutter of anticipation without knowing why, honor that. Say yes to that feeling. And if you feel led, share in the comments, I am open to love that heals and opportunities that unlock. Let it be your invitation. Your agreement. Your seed of faith. What's coming isn't a fantasy. It's a return. To who you really are. To what you've always deserved. To the support you forgot was possible. And Scorpio, they're closer than you think. Sometimes the most profound healing doesn't arrive through grand gestures or loud miracles. It comes softly, almost invisibly, like a feather brushing against your shoulder when no one else is in the room. And yet, in that moment, something within you pauses, recognizes. A scent that brings back a voice long gone. A butterfly that lingers too long on your windowpane. A song that plays at the precise moment your heart begins to break open. These are not coincidences. They are echoes. Gentle reminders that the people we have loved, the ones who once walked beside us in this life, never truly leave. They become a part of the architecture of our spiritual memory, woven into the invisible fabric of our every breath. As we move through this sacred portal of October 4th to 10th, many of you are not just experiencing emotional shifts, you're feeling waves of recognition. Of memory. Of connection that exists beyond space and time. These are not hallucinations or wishful thinking. They are energetic threads being tugged from across realms. They are the souls of those who once held your hand in this life, now holding space for you from another. And while the mind may question, the soul knows. It always knows. Because the language of spirit doesn't speak through logic. It speaks through resonance. The universe often uses the familiar to reach us. A melody, a place, a familiar gesture. These are spiritual touch points, bridges that remind us we're still being watched over, still being guided. In astrology, Scorpio is the gatekeeper of the unseen. You were born with an innate ability to sense what others dismiss. To feel beneath the surface. To translate silence. That sensitivity, although it may have once felt like a burden, is your greatest strength now. It allows you to notice what others overlook, the presence of love that never died. When you feel alone on your journey, remember that your path is not barren. It is lined with those who walked before you, who left seeds of wisdom for you to discover when you were ready. Perhaps this is why you were led here today, to be reminded that you are never walking through the fire alone. That even in moments of despair, something greater has always been clearing the path ahead. There is a quiet line in scripture that speaks directly to this moment. I will go before you and level the uneven places. It's not just a metaphor, it's a map. Life is not asking you to remove every obstacle with your bare hands. It is inviting you to trust that you are being supported in ways you cannot yet see. And while we may not reference the divine in ways that are loud or dogmatic, the message is the same. You were never meant to carry all of this alone. The guidance you seek, the clarity you crave, it isn't always about the next big step. Sometimes it's about stopping, listening, recognizing the signs already present. And when your spirit is still, when your breath is deep and your heart is open, you begin to realize that you have always been accompanied by your ancestors, by love that lingers, by purpose that patiently waits. This week, allow yourself to open to that guidance. Light a candle not to mourn, but to welcome the energy of presence. Speak aloud the name of someone you miss, not in sadness, but in gratitude. Play the song that makes your heart remember, not just to ache but to heal. And if you feel the pull to write in the comments, let it be this: I welcome the signs. I know I am guided. I remember I am not alone. You are not here by mistake. You are not broken. And you are certainly not forgotten. What feels uncertain today is simply being rearranged in your favor. And as the veils between seen and unseen thin, Scorpio, it is you who has always known how to listen between the lines. So trust what you feel. Trust who you remember. And know, with quiet certainty, that the ones you thought you lost never left. When the stars align and the universe whispers, it's never just to inspire wonder. It's an invitation, a doorway. And once you've heard the call, once you've recognized the signs, the next step is never to simply sit back and wait. You were never meant to be a passive witness in your own story. Especially not you, Scorpio. The energy of your sign is transformative by nature: death and rebirth, shadow and light, endings and beginnings. You don't just experience change. You become it. But even the most fated shifts require your participation. That's what this phase is about: sacred, embodied action. The energy of this week is not casual. It's encoded with momentum. You've received the insights, felt the stirrings in your heart, seen the symbolic alignments, and maybe even sensed the presence of those two destined individuals approaching. But energy without direction disperses. That's why you're being guided to ground this cosmic current through ritual, practice, and intention. You don't need to climb mountains or overhaul your life in a single day. You simply need to begin consciously, gently, and consistently. Start by honoring the frequency of gratitude. It's not just a nice sentiment. Gratitude is a magnet for miracles. When you write down 3 things you're grateful for each morning, you're training your perception to shift from lack to abundance, from fear to faith. This isn't about ignoring reality, it's about creating a new one. Gratitude anchors you into the present while planting seeds for your future. The more you recognize what's already working in your life, the more space you create for greater blessings to land. And as a water sign, Scorpio, your connection to emotional depth and energetic flow is profound. That's why meditating near natural water or under the moon isn't just symbolic, it's medicine. Water holds memory. The moon amplifies intuitive clarity. When you sit beside these elements with intention, you're not just relaxing, you're recalibrating. Your body begins to sync with a rhythm older than time. Thoughts quiet. Emotions soften. And in that space, downloads arrive. Answers that once eluded you begin to surface, not as loud declarations, but as subtle knowings. You may not need to understand them fully. Trust is enough. Speaking aloud a personal affirmation each day is a way of claiming your readiness. The words you speak create the world you step into. When you say, "I welcome the two people who will transform my destiny," you're not begging the universe to act, you're reaffirming that it already is. This statement is not just a wish. It's a spiritual agreement. And when you link it with visual cues like lighting a candle, touching your heart, or standing in front of the mirror, you magnify its power. Repetition creates rhythm, and rhythm creates reality. But action doesn't only exist in ritual. It lives in the tangible. Your physical body, your habits, your daily choices, theory, all vehicles through which transformation flows. That's why tending to your health is part of spiritual alignment. Scorpio energy tends to internalize intensity, often holding stress in the body even when the mind denies it. This week, be mindful of that. Reduce stimulants like caffeine, and incorporate greens and purple-toned fruits or juices, foods that nourish the nervous system and open the crown and heart chakras. Treat your body not just as a vessel, but as a sacred collaborator. You are not separate from your intuition. Your body is how your soul speaks. Movement matters, but it doesn't need to be aggressive. Gentle morning yoga or stretching, combined with palm acupressure or breath work, helps release energy stuck in the emotional meridians. These small actions become portals. They tell your subconscious, we're no longer holding. We're releasing. We're ready. When it comes to career, this is the time to reconnect with your why. Why did you begin? Where did you lose your spark? Writing your goals by hand rather than typing them helps engage the deeper layers of your mind. It roots the vision into reality. If a new opportunity presents itself, don't dismiss it too quickly. Often, our biggest breakthroughs come wrapped in discomfort. Expansion always requires a bit of stretch. Financially, you may notice a shift in easing of tension, a new offer, or even support through unexpected channels. This isn't accidental. It's the ripple effect of you aligning with your path and the arrival of that second person, the one who holds the key to a more stable and empowering financial flow. Be wise with your money this week. Avoid shopping as emotional band-aids. Instead, ask yourself, is this a distraction or an investment? When your energy is focused inward, your outer resources begin to reflect that same stability. And in love, perhaps the most tender space of all, the message is simple: open, don't grip. If someone is meant for you, they will meet you without needing to be held in place. Scorpio has a heart that loves intensely, but sometimes intensity becomes armor. You don't need armor anymore. You need presence. You need breath. You need to trust that the love that's coming, whether brand new or rising from the ashes, is arriving not to test you, but to meet you. So take action, not to force outcomes, but to affirm your readiness. Your destiny isn't a faraway concept, it's a present choice. And everything you do this week, from how you eat to how you speak to how you feel, becomes a brick in the foundation of your next chapter. One moment, one breath, one yes at a time. Beloved Scorpio, you've walked far enough, felt deep enough, and endured more than you should have. This is no longer the chapter where you wait for a miracle. This is the moment you become one. The energy around you is shifting decisively and divinely. You are not here to ask for permission to shine. You are the light. You are the vibration that changes the atmosphere of any room you walk into. You carry the voice of generations who whispered prayers for freedom, healing, and abundance. And now, the portal has opened. Not just for you, but through you. Two people are entering your life. One brings a heart full of understanding. The other carries a key. But it is you, Scorpio, who is the door. You are the divine threshold through which blessings pass. And you were never meant to stand in the hallway of delay forever. So pause. Breathe. Let this truth take root. You are not someone waiting for destiny. You are destiny in motion. You are not waiting to be chosen. You have already been appointed. Now I invite you to go deeper. Comment below and let your spirit speak. What angel number has been appearing to you lately? What color keeps finding its way into your wardrobe? What dream have you remembered most vividly this week? These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. They are divine breadcrumbs leading you to the breakthrough you've prayed for in silence. This is how heaven whispers, through repetition, through symbols, through the quiet things you think no one notices. And if you feel touched, aligned, or awakened in any way today, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone else who might be waiting for this message without even knowing it. Here at Miracle of the Sign, we don't just read stars, we read souls. This is a sacred space where your tears are welcome, your hopes are honored, and your faith is restored. You are not just seen here, you are understood. Let your light not only rise but rise with purpose. Thank you for being here. Your miracle is not delayed, it's simply being perfectly timed. And maybe, just maybe, it starts with you pressing comment right now.